I'll begin. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. The stock today to be analyzed is SBI Cards Payment Services Limited. Firstly, we'll have a brief intro about the company. So, the SBI Cards started their operations in October 1998 as a joint venture between SBI and the Carlyle Group. And since then, the SBI parentage and the brand name has enabled and has helped it to establish a reputation of trust, reliability, and transparency with their cardholders. And if we go by the reports of RBI, they have grown the business faster than the Indian credit card market over the past 3 years, both in terms of credit card outstanding amounts and the credit card spends. And we can say that the prime reason behind this can be that they have leveraged their strength and capitalized on the India's favorable economic and demographic changes, which includes strong macroeconomic performance, rising affluence, increasing demographic changes, uh, consumer demand, rapid urbanization, and the growth of e-commerce platforms. The SBI card has a wide portfolio catering to both individual and the corporate customers. And each of the cards or the products, we can say, it is designed meticulously to suit the financial needs of the cardholders. So at present, it offers four primary SBI card brand credit cards, which is Simply Save, Simply Click, Prime, and Elite. Each of these cater to a varying set of cardholder needs. And if we go by the CRISIL report, it is also the largest co-brand credit card issuer in India because they have tie-ups and partnerships with several major players in the travel, fuel, fashion, healthcare, mobility industries, which include Air India, Apollo Hospitals, Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited, the FBB, IRCTC, Ola Money, Yatra, among others. So if we talk about the cities in which it is there, the presence is there. In India, it has its network in 145 cities, and in the beginning of 2020, in the month of February, the SBI cards offered the biggest initial public offering of the year. Moving on to the industry sector update. As of now, the credit card penetration in India is too low, which can be seen in the graph, which is on the mid left. The horizontal bar graph shows the penetration of the credit cards in India, and it also shows that at present the penetration is very low. Uh, India has about 4 cards per 100 customers as compared to US, which has 320 cards per 100 customers. So, and due to the recent push towards the digital payments and the initiatives that the government of India has taken, the industry has witnessed impressive year-on-year growth of about 27%, and the number of cards have increased from 38 million to 49 million, and is expected to reach a number of 83.5 million by 2025, and the penetration is also expected to grow at 5.8%. The credit card spends have grown at a compounded annual growth rate of 32% from fiscal 2015 to fiscal 2019. And it is a part of the CRISIL report. So at present, we can also see that the HDFC Bank is the market leader, which is evident in the pie charts, which are shown in the lower segment of the slide. Yeah, please scroll down. Yeah, so these three pie charts show the number of cards, the total spends, and the transactions in million of the large players of this industry, which is HDFC in dark blue, SBI in orange, ICICI in gray, Axis in yellow, and the Citibank in light blue. So we can see that the highest market share in each of the three segments is covered by HDFC, followed by ICICI. Then we have ICICI, then Axis, and at last we have Citibank. So moving on. So here we have the SBI cards portfolio, which says that the 71% of the loans that it gives is of the revolving type, and 29% is of the term loans. The revenue split is divided into 49% is generated via the fee incomes, and 51% is generated by the interest incomes. And if we talk about the fee income split, so we can see that the 31% is instance-based fees. Instance-based fees are uh, basically depends on the situation. Like for instance, you cross the card limit or you made a late payment. So these are the fees that are charged on that. And subscription fees is the annual charge that you need to pay for availing the credit card facilities. And the interchange fees is the fees that the merchants are charged for processing a debit or credit card transaction.
So talking about the age demographics of the credit card industry, as we can see here that the age group which is shown in yellow, which is the age group of 26 to 30, that number has been increasing in India. So we can say that the share of the customers which who are at the age less than 30, that has been increasing many folds due to the change in customer mindset, and more people they are taking more and more debt because that has been the trend. And in, as and if you would see in the developed countries, the tendency is to take credit and spend. And hence, as India is moving towards becoming a developed country, the tendency of people taking debt and spending is increasing, and same can be seen by the this demographics of the customers who are owning the credit cards. The top five players of the industry almost captures the 75% of the market in terms of total spend. The total spends, they have been increasing at a CAGR of 32%, and they have gone from 1.5 trillion to rupees 6 trillions. The growth in SBI's total spend has been second highest. The cards spend have grown at a CAGR of 23%, but the spends they have registered a growth of 44%. Growth in average spend per card has also been highest for the SBI. It has been rupees 3,708 per card transaction. And all in all, average annual spend of any credit card in India is 1,44,000. And that is the average of all the cards. The number of transactions, as spoken before, has also have increased at a CAGR of 27% from 421 millions to 1,414 million. Axis Bank has recorded the highest number of transactions. Transactions have increased at a rate of 44% for Axis Bank. At the same time, SBI has recorded the highest growth in average spend per transaction, that has been 8%. And as we have seen here, the more than 50% of the fee and service revenues are coming from spend basis, as you can see here. Spend fees primarily comprise of the interchange fees, and interchange fees dependent on the credit card spend and outstanding cards. More than 30% of the fee and service revenue come from instance fees. Instant fees are earned by levying range of charges. Some of them are late payment fees, cash withdrawal fees, statement retrieval fees, and others. Spend based and instance based have grown at a 50% CAGR in the last 3 years. Total revenue from fees and services have also grown by 53% in the same period. Now we'll come to the QGLP analysis of the company. Now, whenever we are analyzing a company, the quality of the business and the management which is running that business, that becomes of the utmost importance. So any business which is stable and consumer facing is the business which is supposed to thrive in a longer run. Now, this is a stable business as unsecured loan business is growing in India, and it is a consumer facing business, B2C. So the competitive advantage which business has is long. The talking about the management now, the promoter for this company is SBI. It is India's largest commercial bank, and this bank has been able to instill the sound corporate governance practices, and that also has led to the credibility of the business. Because of all this, the SBI credit card has become the second largest credit card issuer in India. They have deep industry expertise, demonstrated track record of growth and profitability, and hence the company has been able to leverage the qualities of management in order to enhance their business, which is very well seen in the growth of the company. They have a very sustainable competitive advantage compared to their peers because the company is having a large base of customers because of courtesy of SBI. They have the maximum base of customers they can cater to. So, and as SBI is having its presence in rural to the rural area, they can penetrate over there as well. The SBI card has been able to create a risk optimization program, which was an award-winning program. Hence, we can talk about that management is very vigilant when it comes to the uh, taking care of their risk. The management is very proactive also, and this can be seen in the fact that recently they launched a video KYC in order to take care of the needs of the customer. So all in all, we can say that the management is strong and the business they are in, given the fact that it is still very much underpenetrated in India, they are here to stay for long. Now, talking about the growth in earnings, from where the growth has come for the company. Now, the revenue growth for the company has been at 40% CAGR for the last 4 years. Now, how this has happened? Now, the SBI card was able to associate with many co-brand partners, which include major retailers, airline, railways, operator, department stores, and others. Names were spoken before. SBI has been able to increase the number of premium card offering within its card pool. Now, the more and more premium card they would offer, more and more fee income they will be able to generate. The company has been innovating and launching new products as we speak. The company is having the maximum number of products launched, which is at 43. And in December also, they launched 6 new products. Now, the growth in tier 2 cities has come, which is highest among all the banks, is because of the presence of SBI in small places. Now, the longevity of quality and growth is again very important for a company. The company can have a very good business now, but it may not be able to survive the tide of time. Now, this company and this business, now credit card business is here to stay, because as we have spoken that Indian market is very much under penetrated and it pays long way for SBI card. The data suggests that if the income of a country on a purchasing parity basis crosses 5,000, the discretionary spending start increasing, and that India has recently crossed that, and those spendings have started increasing, which will lead more way for credit card industry to grow. The regular innovation and product upgradation which company is doing will help them to sustain their quality and will help them to grow in future as well. The highest number of product video KYC in pandemic time and many other features and actions taken by company suggest that company is here to stay for long. The SBI possesses a large database of customer demographic, socio-economic status, which will help them to expand and sustain growth momentum which they have gained in past few years. They have a diversified customer acquisition network, which allow them to engage prospective customers across platform. Now, most of the other banks, what they are doing is that they have an internal sourcing. They are providing credit cards mostly to their existing bank customers, wherein if you look at the SBI's portfolio, SBI card portfolio, the 55% cards have been given to the people who don't have account with SBI, and hence they have been able to use internal and external sourcing both when it comes to the expansion of their business. Now, a business could be of a great quality, it could be of uh, good management and all that, but again, the most important part is at what price it is available. Now, the company is trading at PB of 10.3, which is costlier than its peers, but this can be very well defended because of the sales growth which company has recorded in past few years, the consistent and rising ROE which company has registered, and the net profit margins have also been increasing for the company. They have gone from 9 to 10% to till 13%. All this can be supported again by the book value rise. The book value has also increased by a big margin. Return on assets have also gone from 0.3 to 0.37, and all this is supporting the current valuation. The EPS has also increased at a 45%, and market share has also increased a lot in past few years, and similar is expected to happen in coming years, and hence the valuation can be defended. Now, talking about the story in graphs for the company, as you can see that revenue has been growing year on year, and in FY20 they had registered a revenue of 9,276 crore. The net profit margin, as you can see denoted by orange line, has been increasing consistent rise, which talks about the management's capability to run the business. It tells that management is well versed with the business and they can even increase the profitability more going forward. Now, talking about the business growth, as you can see, the average spend per transaction which is happening has also grown consistently. In 2019, it was 3,708 rupees. And talking about the number of cards which have been issued, they have also been increasing. And as of now, they have almost 89 lakhs cards which have been issued in the market. Now, talking about the financial summary, as you can see that net revenue is increasing. The EBITDA margins are expected to drop in FY21, given the fact that their existing fixed cost is not going to come down by much, but they are going to see a decline in their spending. Though much of the spending has been revived, in the first week of May, but still long way to go for the company. As you can see, the ROEs has been healthy at a average of 30%. We can see a dip in ROE going forward. The company, and as you can see, the book value has been increasing. It was 42 in FY19, 56 in FY20, and we are expecting the book value to be around 17 FY21. The debt equity ratio has consistently come down. Company has been able to reduce its debt equity ratio. As here you can see, talking about the financial summary, the net profit margin has increased from 12% to 13.4% in last 3 years. Asset turn ratio has also improved, and sales have been growing at a healthy rate of CAGR of 40%. Now talking about the peer comparison for the company. Now we have compared it with the other NBFCs. We have not compared it with HDFC Bank or any other, because those companies are specifically not only into card. They have they have a whole lot other business, and since they do not give the number for the card business separately, hence we have only taken the other unsecured lending business companies to compare with. Now we are comparing with Bajaj Finance, Muthoot Finance, and Bajaj Finserv. As you can see that the growth for sales has been highest for the SBI cards. Here we are comparing data for the last 3 years. The sales growth has been highest for the SBI card. The ROE also has been highest for the SBI cards. Operating profit margin is less for SBI cards because the SBI card sales number, the final number is much lesser compared to others, given that these companies have started way before and they have a bigger network as of now. But the expectation is that SBI cards operating profit margin will reach at one point of time, maybe after 5-6 years, at a range of 50 to 60%, which is a normal operating profit margin in such kind of businesses.
On with the risk and concerns part, SBI card depends heavily on the third-party payment networks such as Visa, MasterCard, and RuPay for the transaction settlement. So this is a matter of concern for the company. It has also unregulated interchange fees for credit cards, which the service providers or the merchants charge on their wishes. So any move to regulate them might affect the revenues. So next we have the less diversified business, which only operates in the uncollateralized card lending. So as we know that the credit card business is mostly of unsecured type. So this is again a matter of concern here. And we can say that the fluctuating market interest rates, they can also adversely affect the net earnings of people, the funding which they receive, and the liquidity in the market. So it is also a risky factor here. And any persistent economic downturn, which can be seen right now in the present situations, and which can result in job losses, decrease in income of people, reduced spendings. And so the credit card business, since it is mostly an unsecured loan business, so the earnings or the revenue can be affected. So at the end, we would like to conclude and give the investment view. So from the presentation, we can see that the SBI cards is the second largest player in the pure play credit card industry, and it has a strong backing by the SBI market, because it has a large market cap, and the ratios and all those financials are very stable. It shows the high growth, strong growth trajectory, and sustainably superior return ratios. It has performed comparatively better with the peers. And as stated earlier, the credit card and SBI cards has grown at a faster rate than the Indian credit card industry. And we can say that while the near-term challenges due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation stand imminent, that is because the company has sufficient capital, sufficient liquidity buffers, and robust risk management system, this would enable them to maintain a balance sheet which is resilient and is more absorbent to shocks. So looking at the industry dynamics, we can say that the SBI Card Payment Services Limited is here to stay for long, and can give and is a sustainable and can show sustainable growth. And we can also say that it is a good investment strategy. Thank you. We are open for questions.
So there is a question in the chat box. Shivan. Hello.
Yeah, because recording, please stop.